Like many of you, over winter break, our family opted for a few days of vacation. Usually we go to the beach, but this year we decided to play in the snow. Now, aside from Rabbi Sherman, who grew up in Syracuse, for the kids and me, it was basically our first time snow tubing, and certainly our first time attempting to master the skill of skiing. Like most first-time skiers, thank God we enlisted the help of an incredible ski instructor who taught us how to put on our skis, how to position the skis moving forward, but as you know, most importantly, she taught us how to stop. But I was most drawn to the lesson on falling. You see, Eva, our instructor, explained that out of all of the skills that we should master, of all the skills that we should learn, we needed to understand how to fall correctly. Because if you feel as if you are moving out of control, you shouldn't just attempt to collapse into the snow, because what will happen, as I witnessed a few times, you'll likely continue to tumble down the mountain. But she explained, the best way to fall in skiing is actually to fall sideways, easing into the snow, letting the ground try to cushion and embrace you. And moreover, while falling, even though you'll have the inclination to reach out and grab onto someone else, don't do that. Because unintentionally, you'll bring that person down with you. So fall sideways, and while fearful, know that help is probably on its way. Now, our instructor, Eva, she didn't know she was speaking to a rabbi. Rabbis. But I was the one on the ski lift with her because I wouldn't go on the ski lift with anyone else. And so on the ski lift, she said, "So what do you do?" And I kind of eased into it. First I said, well, I write a lot and I speak a lot. And then I decided to reveal our identity, and I said, I'm a rabbi. And she started again to describe the correct way of falling, and I thought, Eva, this is incredibly spiritual advice. Because as we all know, falling is inevitable. Yes, falling on the ski slopes, but take some time to think about the ways in which we've all fallen in 2022. Perhaps some of us have fallen in business, not excelled professionally in the ways that we would have hoped. Or maybe we've fallen in our relationships, knowing that we could have communicated better, knowing that our reactions could have been less harsh, perhaps more forgiving. We fall in the way that we speak with each other, the way we treat strangers, and frankly, the way that we treat ourselves. And of course, we fall as we experience personal and communal tragedies, as we experience loss and pain and anger. And so as we transition out of 2022 and tonight ring in the secular new year, I think the question that we need to explore for ourselves is not how I can prevent myself from falling this upcoming year, because frankly, it's foolish to think we won't stumble. We all do. Rabbi Harold Kushner, in paraphrasing Rabbi Mordechai Kaplan, once said, expecting the world to treat you fairly because you're a good person is like expecting a charging bull to stop in its tracks because you're a vegetarian. And so rather, the question we should all be asking ourselves this morning is, how can we fall better? How can we fall in such a way that we are inspired at some point to get back up? And how can we fall in such a way that when we do, others might see us and help us find a less turbulent path to walk on? Once again, mentioning Rabbi Harold Kushner, as many of you know, he's the author of the well-known book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. And he wrote his book in response to the tragic death of his 13-year-old, his son passing away from a rare disease. The book is a modern response to suffering, to falling, and he reacts to personal and communal tragedies in the following way. He writes, "The God I believe in does not send us the problem. God gives us the strength to cope with the problem." He continues, "I believe that God gives us strength and patience and hope, renewing our spiritual resources when they run dry." And in his gut-wrenching explanations of how he got up to face the world again, Rabbi Kushner explains that when we fall, there's often a discovery of strength to help us survive the unbearable. It's not that we want to discover that strength, but that discovery happens nonetheless. In other words, when we fall, falling better is knowing that we will get back up, even if it takes longer than we expected or longer than we hope. The reason being is because we are each imbued with a sense of godly fortitude, a divine sense of courage we should know that we already have. And if we start out in life knowing that that godly force exists within us, getting up won't necessarily be easy. It probably won't be easy. But getting up will remain the sole possibility. Falling better in 2023 is taking the time to renew our spiritual anchor, taking the time to feel grounded so that stumbling might feel a little less shaky. Spiritual rootedness. No pressure, but perhaps it might mean coming back to synagogue more often. Perhaps it means involving yourself in a community to witness your pain, but to also celebrate your joy. Perhaps it means thinking about your connection with God and praying often to reveal that strength that has always existed within you. Said the poet Yehuda Halevi, "Where, Lord, will I find you? Your place is high and obscured, and where I won't find you, your glory fills the world. I sought out your nearness with all my heart, I called to you. And in my going out to meet you, I found you coming toward me." God is closer than we think. That godly searching, that godly strength that we're trying to discover may not be so obscured, because sometimes in our searching we forget that God is looking for us too. Rabbi Eliyahu Lopian was known for saying, "The body needs air, but what's the air of the soul? That's faith." Falling better in 2023 is taking 2023 to restore, renew, and replenish the seeds of your faith. And in doing so, when we fall, because we all fall, we will hear God's voice over and over and over again whisper to us, "You do. You have the strength to get back up." And so in this secular new year, I pray for all of us. When we feel stuck in the snow, we just might fall better and eventually get back up. Because truthfully, all we need is a little faith. Happy New Year. Shabbat Shalom.